Hi everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. I was one of those kids, and maybe your child is like this too. Or maybe you're a coach and you have a skater or two like this. It's the skater that already knows everything and just wants to skip to the fun stuff. They don't want to practice things like swizzles, pumps, stroking, or even edges. And they don't understand why they need to practice those basic skating skills. And possibly their parents don't understand the value either. Or maybe you're a parent and you don't understand why your child has to keep practicing stroking over and over again. And sometimes these skaters watch YouTube tutorials on how to land their AXEL before they even have their edges mastered. And they come to a lesson ready to show you what they know how to do. No judgment here. Remember, I was one of those skaters. But back then, when I was a kid, we didn't have YouTube and there were no tutorials that I could watch. I would just try to mimic what I saw Dorothy Hamill or Scott Hamilton do. I thought I knew everything. But my attitude might have been one of the reasons that I didn't continue skating as a kid and returned to the sport as an adult at the age of 40. So something that I try to be really good at as a coach is explaining to my skaters and their parents why a particular element is essential to master. And this is something that no one ever explained to me. I feel like this is something pretty unique that I bring to the table. The ability to think like someone that doesn't know what they don't know. I'm able to put myself in my skaters or their parents' shoes or skates. And this is something that some coaches have difficulty doing because most coaches were competitive skaters as kids and grew up in the sport, naturally progressing to become a coach. To many that have been in the skating community for a lifetime, some things that people like you may not know are things that they have known most of their lives. So for them, it might not be easy to truly understand what information is most valuable to pass along to someone that's new to the sport. On the other hand, I took a very non-traditional route, at least as far as the skating world is concerned. I wasn't a really serious skater as a child, although I wanted to be. I did skate, but I only took group lessons because that's what my parents could afford. And I wasn't competitive as a skater. So when I returned to the sport as an adult and looked at everything with fresh eyes and realized how much I just didn't know, I had lots of questions. That's why it can sometimes be easier for me to figure out what to explain and how to explain it to you. Now, with figure skating, you have to look at it this way. When you're watching someone that's good, I mean really good, they make it look effortless, right? But that's the skater's job, so that you enjoy watching them. Remember, it takes years to get to the point that it appears effortless. And good skaters can make it look so easy that sometimes it's hard to remember how much work they put into it. Think about it. The skaters that you watch on TV or at the Olympics, they train for a decade or more to get there. This is one of the reasons why I don't do straight up figure skating tutorials. Not that there's anything wrong with the coaches that do them. I actually enjoy watching Coach Julia, Coach Mary, Coach Michelle Hung, and other tutorials too. And tutorials are a great resource when they are ready to work on that particular element. But rushing the progression by skipping over necessary skills that you need to have in place to execute more challenging elements, such as jumps and spins, can be a huge mistake. I'm going to explain figure skating skill progression, why it's so essential that you master the boring stuff if you want to progress to the fun stuff and be able to do it all well. If we're just meeting, my name is Amy Ricca. I'm a PSA ranked and rated figure skating coach. I'm also an ISSA certified elite trainer, specialist in strength and conditioning, and certified in youth fitness. I'm also a precision nutrition certified nutrition coach. I work with figure skaters, hockey skaters, recreational skaters, and their families, people just like you, to help them create change and get real results. Okay, so skill progression, or why you just can't skip to the fun stuff. All skating, figure skating, recreational skating, and hockey skating is based on the same basic skating skills. As a coach, we must understand the basic skills and techniques. It's equally essential that we have a good understanding of athletic development so that we can train skaters most effectively. Quality foundational skills are the key to successful progression in skating, no matter what discipline. Skaters may be limiting their growth potential when working on skating skills that are of a higher level before they emphasize quality basics at the early stages. For this reason, I often think about just how important the instruction is that we provide to skaters at the very beginner levels. These skills are not just for beginners, by the way. Even the highest level elite competitors are judged by their skating skills. In fact, it's part of their component score in the International Judging System, or IJS. The component score is comprised of how well a skater does in 5 categories: skating skills, transitions, performance, composition, and music interpretation. Skating skills are defined by overall cleanness and sureness, edge control, and flow over the ice surface, demonstrated by a command of edges, steps, turns, etc. It's also judged by the clarity of technique and seemingly effortless power to accelerate and vary speed. Likewise, IJS uses criteria to evaluate skating skills, such as use of deep edges, steps and turns, balance, rhythmic knee action, and precision of foot placement, flow and glide, varied use of power, speed and acceleration, use of multi-directional skating, and use of one-foot skating. The consideration of quality is the aspect of figure skating in which officials evaluate skaters. Quality is demonstrated in every aspect of a skater's performance, from the execution of technical elements to the carriage and form used while interpreting music, to the skills demonstrated in edges and turns. Let's just put aside the IJS definition for a minute. The skater's ability to execute quality skating, skills that are fundamental to building their skill repertoire, will help them to perform more advanced skills with quality. The most fundamental aspect of quality is the basic skating skills. Strong basic skating skills demonstrate high quality. Likewise, lower quality skating demonstrates weaker basic skating skills. And as coaches, we can assess basic skating skills by considering stroking, edge quality, and turn ability. So if you don't have quality skills at the fundamental level, you cannot be expected to achieve higher level skills with quality. Does this make sense? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. So this is why if you're enrolled in Learn to Skate USA group lessons, you sometimes may not pass to the next level. You see, it's not enough just to go through the motions of a skill. I see this all the time. Let's take swizzles, for example. It's not enough just to go through the motion of the swizzle with your feet. You have to be pushing against the ice on an inside edge by bending your knees at the beginning of the push and rising up at the knees to complete the swizzle motion. Ideally, your inside edge should make a sound on the ice. This indicates that you're properly pushing, but many skaters don't push against the ice and are just moving their feet in the swizzle formation. This becomes an issue later on when they reach the next level because you need the proper swizzle technique in order to do a rocking horse correctly. And it would help if you have your rocking horse technique correct to perform your backward swizzles correctly. And you need both forward and backward swizzles to perform pumps or C-cuts, forward and backward correctly. And it's best if you have quality pumps to perform crossovers, progressives, and edges correctly. You get the idea here. To pass an element, you have to perform it correctly, 8 out of 10 times. We call that mastery. That's what's required to pass in Learn to Skate USA group classes. When I teach skating skills, I focus not only on the skating technique, but also on the athletic aspect. That includes core strength, control, and overall coordination that's required to balance. Poor balance can result in instability, 2-foot skating, or even a fall.
Oh my goodness! happened? Yes. Oh my goodness. No, come on. Awesome. Oh my goodness.
The skater needs to continue developing and attaining precise core strength and control to maximize the blade's efficiency on the ice. Core strength can enable a skater to achieve more force and power and greater endurance, flexibility, motor control, and function. Muscular coordination allows the body to move from a static and vertical position into multiple positions, while remaining steady and balanced over their blade. Skaters need to be aware of their center of gravity in positions. It is this muscular structure with the skeletal system that produces collective strength. When developed properly, the body retains a balanced position through space and movement. This position and alignment do not always need to be upright, but can move into a broader space and maintain balance. More refined balance and coordination allow for the finer details as well as sustained movement. When developed properly, your body can balance over the blade and flow effortlessly over the ice. And with balance and counterbalance, a skater can lean, skate deep edges, and demonstrate quality skating while performing all the skills that are needed for the artistry of figure skating. This is where being certified in personal training, strength and conditioning, and youth fitness are particularly useful for my skaters and me too. Not only am I able to work with them off the ice, but I can also cue them properly in using the correct muscles while on the ice as well. By the way, if you're a figure skating coach and want to enhance your coaching, I highly recommend getting certified as a personal trainer, especially if you're doing any off-ice work. Remember, it's really out of a figure skating coach's scope to do strength and conditioning work unless they're certified and insured. So if you're thinking about getting certified in personal training, I highly recommend ISSA, and there are links in the description down below. I have one there that has all the promotions and discounts that are available. So go down in the description below and click that link. Now, let's get back to quality and let's look at one of the most fundamental elements, stroking. What exactly is quality stroking? As a coach, I'm constantly looking to see that my skaters are pushing correctly from the side of the blade, turning their foot out, and not toe pushing, that a skater can demonstrate good balance in a 1-foot glide, that a skater can transition from one foot to the other smoothly, that their knee action is soft and consistent with an appropriate bend and rise to absorb the power of the stroke and sustain their glide. I also look to see that a skater's thrust is similar on each foot, that their posture is upright and they're not breaking at the waist or the hips, that their stroking is powerful, of course taking their height and weight into account. Now let's look at something more advanced, the AXEL, because I had a skater that's been skating twice a week for a month tell me the other day that she can do an AXEL. This particular skater hasn't yet mastered her backward outside edge, and you need to have a solid, well-controlled outside edge entry into your AXEL, and you also need to have a strong outside edge for your landing or exit. Never mind all the things that have to go on to get 1.5 full rotations in the air. So before you can attempt an AXEL, you need to have a very strong backward outside edge. It's also quite helpful if you've mastered your backspin too. An AXEL really isn't something you can rush into after watching an online tutorial. I mentioned in a previous video that the skatingaheadofthecurve.com website has a chart that says it takes about 150 hours of training time to master your AXEL. And honestly, on average, that sounds about right. So don't rush it, because the higher quality your fundamental basic skating skills are, the better your higher end skating skills will be in the future. So now tell me, what fun stuff are you looking forward to? And do you understand the basic skills that you need to master before you can tackle those? Are you having trouble with any of the basic skills? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. Did this video help you to understand skill progression? If so, please give this video a like and share it with somebody else it can help, and just post it to your social media too. And remember that I post at least 3 videos a week that can help your skating, your fitness, and your nutrition. If you like this kind of content, remember to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a video. This is Amy. Thank you for watching. Happy skating. I will see you real soon. Bye.